It's a nice place I've got here. It belonged to Domain, the oil man. We'll go inside.
I'm paralyzed with happiness. This is Baker, by the way. She's a golfer. She'll be staying with us for a time. How have you been, Nick? Where have you been? Oh, I've been well. The move's been long, but I stopped off in Chicago for a day on my way east, and everyone sends their love. Do they miss me? The whole town's desolate. All the cars have their left rear wheel painted black as a mourning wreath, and there's a persistent wail all night along the North Shore. How gorgeous! Let's go back, Tom. Tomorrow. You ought to see the baby. I'd like to. She's asleep. She's 3 years old. Haven't you ever seen her? Never. Well, you ought to. She's...
So what are you doing, Nick?
Oh, I'm a bond man.
Who with?
Oh, with Mosasaurus Moneybags. You must have heard of him.
Never heard of them.
Oh, well, you will. You will if you stay in the East.
Oh, I'll stay in the East. Don't you worry. I'd be a damned fool to live anywhere else.
Absolutely. Ugh, I'm stiff. I've been lying on that sofa for as long as I can remember.
Don't look at me. I've been trying to get you to New York all afternoon.
No thanks. I'm absolutely in training.
You are? How you ever get anything done is beyond me.
You live in West Egg? I know somebody there.
I don't know a single...
You must know Gatsby.
Gatsby? What Gatsby?
Dinner is ready.
Why candles? In 2 weeks, it'll be the longest day of the year. Do you always watch for the longest day of the year and then miss it? I always miss it.
We ought to plan something.
Alright, what do we plan? What do people plan? Look! I heard it. You did it, Tom. I know you didn't mean to, but you did do it. That's what I get for marrying a brute of a dinosaur. A great big, hulking, physical specimen of a...
I hate that word. Hulking. Even in kidding.
Hulking. You make me feel uncivilized, Daisy. Can't you talk about crops or something?
Civilization's going to pieces. I've gotten to be a terrible pessimist about things. Have you read The Rise of the Mammal Empires by this Tyrannosaurus Goddard?
Why, no.
Well, it's a fine book, and everybody ought to read it. The idea is if we don't look out, the dinosaur race will be utterly submerged. It's all scientific stuff. It's been proved.
Tom's getting very profound. He reads deep books with long words in them. What was that word
Well, these books are all scientific. This fellow has worked out the whole thing. It's up to us, who are the dominant race, to watch out for these other species, or they'll have control of things.
We've got to beat them down.
The idea is we're all dinosaurs. I am, and you are, and we've produced all the things that go into civilization. Oh, science and art and all that. Do you see?
Master Buchanan, we got a call from the Wilsons.
This Mr. Gatsby you spoke of is my neighbor.
Shush, don't talk. I want to hear.
Is something happening?
You mean to say you don't know? I thought everybody knew.
I don't.
Why, Tom's got some woman in New York.
Got some woman?
She might have the decency not to telephone him at dinner time, don't you think?
It couldn't be helped. I looked outdoors for a minute, and it's very romantic outdoors. There's a bird on the lawn that I think must be a Confuciusornis. He's singing away. It's very romantic, isn't it, Tom?
Very romantic.
We don't know each other very well, Nick. Even if we are cousins. You didn't come to my wedding. I wasn't back from the war. That's true. Well, I've had a very bad time, Nick, and I'm pretty cynical about everything. So your daughter, I suppose she talks and eats and everything? Oh yes. Listen, Nick, let me tell you what I said when she was born. Would you like to hear? Very much. It'll show you how I've gotten to feel about things. Well, she was less than an hour old and Tom was God knows where. I woke up out of the ether with an utterly abandoned feeling and asked the nurse right away if it was a boy or a girl. She told me it was a girl, and so I turned my head away and wept. All right, I said. I'm glad it's a girl, and I hope she'll be a fool. That's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful little fool. You see, I think everything's terrible anyhow. Everyone thinks so, the most advanced people. And I know. I've been everywhere and done everything. Sophisticated. God, I'm sophisticated.
"10 o'clock. Time for this good girl to go to bed."
Jordan's going to play in the tournament tomorrow, over at Westchester. Oh, you're Jordan Baker.
"Good night. Wake me at 8, won't you?"
If you get up.
"Good night, Mr. Carraway. See you anon."
Of course you will. In fact, I think I'll arrange a marriage. Come over often, Nick, and I'll sort of, fling you together. You know, lock you up accidentally in linen closets and push you out to sea in a boat, all that sort of thing.
"Good night. I haven't heard a word."
She's a nice girl. They oughtn't let her run around the country this way.
Who oughtn't to?
Her family.
Her family is one aunt about 1,000 years old. Besides, Nick's going to look after her, aren't you, Nick? She's going to spend lots of weekends out here this summer. I think this home influence will be very good for her. Is she from New York? From Louisville. Our white girlhood was passed together there. Our beautiful white...
Did you give Nick a little heart-to-heart talk on the veranda?
Did I? I can't seem to remember, but I think we talked about the dinosaur race. Yes, I'm sure we did. It sort of crept up on us, and then the first thing you know...
Don't believe everything you hear, Nick.